And so they upped their messaging, officials tell us, in the days ahead of time. And again, 100 to 200 people were here during Helene, we're told. Officials believe that no one stayed in Bradenton Beach when Milton was on the way. And again, when you take a look behind us, even though we talk about storm surges being the biggest killer in a hurricane typically, when you look at that, and that was something you could have been in the middle of, it's good to know that no one was staying in this community, Hallie.
Yeah, no kidding. I wonder, Siesta Key, the bridge had obviously been blocked off before the storm hit, blocking the entrance last night into this morning as well. Sarasota officers were making sure people didn't go in, but they told one of our producers that people could go in on foot. Has that been happening? Like, have you noticed people either where you are or there trying to come and suss out what happened?
Not where I am. We've seen first responder vehicles going by, a search and rescue team, even though they said they didn't have reports of missing persons here, per se. But in the aftermath of Helene, it took about a week for them to get people back into their homes because of the storm surge impact here. Officials believe they may be able to get people back, residents, I should say, back into this community in Bradenton Beach as early as tomorrow, possibly. But for now, the public is not allowed in here. We were escorted in, Hallie.
Okay. Of course, they wouldn't have power if they did get back in, right? I mean, that's the big issue.
Yeah, as best we can tell, there's no power out here. There's debris all over the place. Even though we're not dealing with hurricane force winds, right? You can still get a gust when it gets dark out. This is stuff that you could be driving over. You could get a flat tire, which would, be a best case scenario, frankly, with all the stuff that's out here. We've seen a tipped over fridge. There is pieces of wood. There's, drywall hanging out of these homes. And again, you've got unstable structures like this one, and who knows what else could happen in the days ahead with something like that, Hallie.
Jesse Kirsch, thank you for being there, and thank you for being there all night. I know, in the thick of it, appreciate it. Marissa Parra, same to you, friend, out there in St. Pete. I know you've been driving around the region where it's not easy to get around, say the least. I'm looking behind you here. We showed that video of Tropicana Field. This is a roof that was built to handle up to 115 mile an hour winds. Wind speed never actually got that high. It was like 101 miles an hour. But look, I mean, the roof was ripped right off. Fortunately, nobody was hurt, Marissa, but this is just one example of some of the destruction that Milton brought.
Right. So I want to point out a couple things. We actually drove through around the same area that Stephanie Gosk is standing in. And this is, I think, a stark difference because she is highlighting the water event, the water damage that parts of the same region are seeing. In fact, we're in St. Petersburg. This is what we were seeing about 2 weeks ago with Helene. But now the difference is where Helene was 100 miles offshore and caused all that water damage, we now are seeing in these same parts 2 weeks later the wind damage. Case in point, right here, Tropicana Field, home of the Tampa Bay Rays. That roof, which is just an exoskeleton now with pieces of fabric flapping in the wind, exposed, and there were roughly 14 people inside. We know at one point they were considering using this as a staging area for first responders inside, and they ultimately decided not to do that. But there were 14 people who were inside working security. Undoubtedly a very scary moment for them. And keep in mind, that is here. And by the way, there were no injuries reported. We understand that people were able to take shelter. The Tampa Bay Rays were able to confirm that in a social media post. Hallie, it is only blocks away from here that a crane collapsed. I think I was here yesterday telling you about the concerns of those crane collapsing.
That's right.
And that is exactly what happened. But it was on a business building, and no one got hurt in that instance either, Hallie.
Yeah, I think it was the Tampa Bay Times building, right? But it's our understanding from some of the reports that those journalists were out because they were covering this storm. So fortunately, no injuries there,
Exactly.
Marissa. Ton of rain, too, right? I mean, just absolutely swamped people in that area.
Yes, and I can speak to that because we were driving through it. We saw those flooded streets, and one thing that was really remarkable, and we knew that this was going to be the case, it was really hard to tell the difference between where the Helene debris began or ended and where Milton debris began, because it all just sort of floated together as one big mess on the streets here. And I think that, as Stephanie pointed out, a lot of people probably caught off guard in areas where they were not in those mandatory evacuation zones. They thought they were safe. So between getting caught off guard with the rainfall or even wind like this, being told that you might be at risk of a crane collapsing in your apartment wasn't exactly in the cards. They thought that, oh, we're in evacuation zone C, we must be safe. And just a reminder, these storms pose a threat from all sides, Hallie.
Marissa Parra, live for us there in St. Petersburg. Thank you. Let me take you to the other coast, to Fort Pierce, where Priscilla Thompson is. And the reason why we have you out there, Priscilla, is because you're in St. Lucie County. If folks were watching our coverage over the course of the last 24 hours, they saw on our show that we spoke with officials there who talked about the impact of the tornadoes that were getting spun off from those outer bands of Milton. We now know that multiple people have died from this very scary tornado outbreak where you are. Tell us more about what we're learning, about who these victims are, and about what happens next.
Yeah, Hallie. Well, let me tell you about what we're seeing in this neighborhood. You've got 2 cars back there with the windows busted out here, windows busted out there. Up and down this block, just about every car has its windows busted out. There are trees and debris everywhere, piling them up on the side of the road here. But here's the other thing that we've seen here. Storm shutters up also on just about every house. This was a community that tried to prepare for the hurricane. They were prepared for the winds, they were prepared for the flooding, but they were not prepared for the possibility of those tornadoes. I want to play a little bit of sound that I got after speaking with a resident here who talked to me about the moment that he realized this was going to be more than just your traditional hurricane. Take a listen.
You could feel the pressure of the house on top of it, and audibly the whistling and force coming down. It lasted about a minute and a half, and it was gone. Walked outside and annihilated. The neighborhood annihilated.
And just really quickly, I will say the folks in this community count themselves lucky because the community right next to it, we have drone footage showing the devastation there. Houses completely gone. Police were only allowing residents in because there were teams on the ground still doing search and rescue in that area. And so certainly a lot of devastation here as the toll from the tornadoes alone is at 6. That is half of the death toll here in the state so far. Hallie?
You've also got 50,000 people who don't have power in the county where you are, Priscilla. The Florida governor has said linemen from as far as the West Coast out in California are being brought in to try to help. Any sense of timeline?
Yeah, that's always the big question. He says that there are 50,000 linemen who are here working to get into these areas to begin working on getting that power restored. They've also brought in 1,000 generators to help power some of this critical infrastructure. But I think, as is often the case, it is going to take time, especially as we're talking about more than 3 million people across the state without power. But I want to show you really quickly a good sign. Water utility folks here. This community is still without power, but they're working to get that wastewater pumped out. And so that is a good sign here when you see utility trucks coming into neighborhoods like this. Hallie?
Yeah, no kidding. You cross your fingers and hope it means that that folks will be able to get what they need sooner rather than later. Priscilla Thompson, thank you very much. Let me take you down to the Sanibel Causeway, which is connecting to one of the barrier islands off the coast with Sam Brock. And Sam, I'm looking behind you. Looks like emergency vehicles are getting through. What about people who live or have homes in that area?
Yeah, so if you're a resident, you can get on and off the island, but everybody else right now cannot access it. Hallie, look over my shoulder. You got the checkpoint. This is actually the lightest that we have seen things the entire day. My guess is because there's a curfew at 9 p.m. After that point, everyone's got to be inside. But here's the reality for Sanibel Island right now. And we talk about these barrier islands as being sort of that first line that gets whacked with huge storm surge and these violent winds. Well, on Sanibel Island, this situation has no water, no electricity. There is a critical piece of infrastructure that needs to be flown onto the island to restore the electricity that allow them to start pumping water again. But these bulletins, they're warning residents returning for the first time to their homes on Sanibel, do not turn on the water. You can get sewage backed up inside of your home, and there are many cases not clear as to what level of damage they're even going to see. I couldn't tell you because we haven't been able to get on there how bad
I still have it. I just can't stream on it.
it is, but I can tell you that it's not unlikely that they've sustained some damage. Sanibel Island, you recall when Hurricane Ian came through a couple of years ago, the bridge was damaged. You couldn't get across the causeway, and everything was decimated. Century-old hotels and homes that have been there for so long were wiped out. I'm not saying that's the case in this instance, but we can't see right now because access is restricted.
Can you give us a sense of what it was like for you overnight as you were hunkering down in the storm? Folks who watch the show know that we talked to you a little bit about how you and your crew stayed safe through Milton. Kind of give us the update there and where you're heading next. Like as you're looking at the maps and as our teams are getting deployed to various locations, like what's the next thing for you in your reporter's notebook?
So, Hallie, I can't hear you right now. We just lost our communications, but I will tell you this. I think you're asking me about Fort Myers Beach as long as we sort of segue to where we have been today and the places that we've seen, really the evocative memories of people that have gone through these crises. And it's pretty remarkable. These homes that have been newly rebuilt, right? Hundreds of homes all over the 7-mile stretch on Estero Boulevard held up pretty well, but many homeowners did sustain more damage. Can you imagine the idea of going back after Hurricane Helene, now after Hurricane Milton, after Hurricane Debbie? It's been 5 hurricanes in 2 years for this population of people. We caught up with one woman. Her name is Crystal Shola, and she also does need to have more repairs to her home, which was destroyed in the first place. We talked about the psychology of the situation. Take a listen. How hard is it to keep going through this same cycle over and over again?
You know, it is hard. We have terrific neighbors. We all help each other. And the fact that we all love it here so much that, you know, we just keep doing it, you know. You know, it's really, you know, it's heart-wrenching to have to keep going through this.
Residents just returned Hallie, and no doubt Crystal not the only one that's feeling that way and that emotional today. Back to you.
Sam Brock, total pro, even without those comms. Sam, thank you very much. Let me go back to the studio now with Bill Cairns, who's got the forecast. I say forecast, but really, Bill, it's a bit of a sort of pulling back, looking at what else is to come here, right? If we're looking at any kind of storm surge on the East Coast and the timing here, because you look at the timing between Helene and Milton, just 13 days, that's the shortest amount between 2 hurricanes for the state of Florida ever.
Yeah, how I stare at all these pictures of the damage and aftermath of every single storm. And what's different for me is I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know if it was from Helene or if it was from Milton. I mean, it's just a mess in so many areas. You know, a lot of people are saying that, you know, the wind damage is mostly from what happened yesterday with Milton. A lot of the storm surge is from, you know, Helene, but I don't think we've even seen some of the worst pictures from, you know, where Sam was trying to get there on Sanibel up to Captiva, and then that area south of Sarasota. We still haven't seen those pictures either. So, yeah, there was a lot of wind problems last night. So some areas of the storm overachieved and some underachieved. It's very typical. No hurricane is alike, and you can see a lot of the pictures there. Yeah. So the storm is gone. It's not tropical anymore. This was at landfall, by the way, and as we watched the storm moving in, it kind of lost the bottom half of it. You notice all the bright red and yellows, those are the thunderstorms, and that may have reduced the storm surge a little bit. We know we had a 5
Guys, the northern lights are visible soon.
to 6 foot storm surge officially in Naples and Fort Myers. We don't have any storm gauges on the coast, the tidal gauges in Inglewood or Venice, but these are the areas I'm waiting to see the pictures. If we had that 10-foot surge, this is where it occurred. But I didn't see any devastation during the day today, and we had, you know, helicopters were up and everything else, so that's good. The tornadoes, we covered this all day yesterday on the show. This was incredible, especially how strong some of them were. And the highest wind gust, this was about as expected with a major hurricane. It was like borderline Category 3, Category 2, and that's why we've had so many power outages with such a widespread area all the way across the peninsula to the East Coast with that. And then, Hallie, this overachieved, though. This rain in St. Petersburg was pretty crazy, that 18 inches yesterday, and that's why we saw all the pictures of people being rescued well inland because they got caught in the inland floods.
Would you say this is about what you expect?
Watching that all day, yeah, dude,
Bill,
it's
based on
fucking,
the forecast,
it's
was
entertaining.
It less bad or was it worse? How would you sort of gauge that?
Am I right, Chad?
Yeah, we're looking at the pictures here in Lakeland, and this was from that, you know, 12 to 18 inches of rain with that eyes that came in last night. I would say overall it's kind of as expected. I think, you know, the wind and the widespread of the rain was probably a tad bit worse.
I'm going to go look at
looks like it was a tad bit
outside.
less. But this forecast was pretty well done by the National Hurricane Center. You know, they had it making landfall at 125 miles per hour, and it was one in Sarasota about the whole time. Tampa Bay was a close call, but they ended up missing that storm surge, so that was good.
Yeah. Good news for them, at least, if not for others. Bill Cairns, thank you very much. Appreciate it. So here's the thing. We've been showing you.
All right, based.
Fell in love at dusk, then you left me in the dust. Love me when I'm gone, but when I'm here you hate my guts. Every time that you call, I know that something's up. We're always on and off, so don't say you want my love. Fell in love at dusk, then you left me in the dust. Love me when I'm gone, but when I'm here you hate my guts. Every time that you call, I know that something's up. We're always on and off, don't say you want
100,000 lifetimes looking for the philosopher's stone and wasted my time when I should have been looking for that holy grail.
That boy Vanish got the smoke.
I'm sorry that I'm crying right now, but I'm drunk and I miss you so much. And I know that this is bullshit because you found a new perfect girl for you. But I miss you so much.
That boy Vanish got the smoke.
Thank you. I play piano and make music mostly.
That boy Vanish got the smoke.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. That's dope. Very dope AF.
That boy Vanish got the smoke.
What?
Why is you broke and why am I rich? He tryna run up, he finna get hit. Broke all week, we finna get lit. We buy fake clothes, I only buy legit. Yo, got to his head, he finna admit. Your music is trash, but you gotta quit. Frick. He tryna run up on gang. Let's see know that he finna die. Smoking on packs all day. I never film on live. They try backstab me with a knife. Oh, look, Chris, two up, he's strapped. You talking now, boy, finna. You talking now, damn. You talking now, boy, finna die.
Hey, haha, that's awesome. That sample is goated. I'm gonna get sued.
Got me in my feels, 'cause I don't know what's real. I've been walking, Baby, I don't like the way you acting. What you putting on the show could be an actress. When that girl break my heart, she a bragging. That girl playing tricks on me with her magic. Baby, I don't like the way you acting. What you putting on the show could be an actress. When that girl break my heart, she a bragging. That girl playing tricks on me with her magic. Got me in my feels, 'cause I don't know what's real. I've been walking, got me wanting on me. Baby, I don't like the way you acting. What you putting on the show could be an actress.
You feel me? Do not be saying all that. Calm down, boy. What makes you say all that? Are you under the ground and you need a shovel? Fuck. No. You said never die? Oh God, bro. I'm not gonna be part of the 21st Club. Oh God, what's up with the comments though?
When that girl break my heart, she a bragging. That girl playing tricks on me with her magic. Baby, I don't like the way you acting. Waiting for.
Guys, this is this is the legend that makes all the good music, bro. It's Havoc. This is the legend. I know this song. Yeah. Real talk, bro. Ooh, that's fire. Alright, should I leak everything or no? Hey, fucking keyboard's rebooted. I'm so silly, chat. I'm rebooted, 1 sec. Oh, this might be fucked. This might work. This could fucking be genius. This is genius, actually. I'm 5 foot. Right.